how do we preserve human agency even in a world where technology is saying, I can make you 1,000 times more efficient? How do we preserve what the human beings can actually do?
When I look at artificial intelligence and the power it has to do, you're very right that when you look at it with mechanization and bringing this world together, could that lead to job loss? The answer would be no. I look at it differently by the fact that it's providing solutions, and the solutions that are coming in is providing efficiency in our way of operation. And proficiency, I'm looking at two things. One is efficiency, the next is quality. The quality of the kind of products that you get out of this AI is bringing in solutions that are tailor-made to improve on the two levels, on efficiency and the quality of the kind of work. Not forgetting the efficiency in terms of the general management of our industries. When you look at the power of AI and the kind of trainings that are coming in, you cannot avoid the human agency, the human face into any conversation on AI. Why? Inasmuch, if you look at our education sector, for example, when you bring AI, nowadays there's a lot of learning that you can be able to do digitally using AI, getting real-time results through artificial intelligence. But does that then mean that you can get rid of the teacher? The answer would be no. Why? It's because in as much as artificial intelligence is providing solutions within the learning environment, then you still need the educators for the human interface. Because research has told us that relationships within a learning environment is very important. Important because you can be able to internalize the experiences of the learners. And that is the most important part that you need to take cognizance of. When you look at AI, it's bringing efficiency in terms of how to manage the learner experiences. But when it comes to the actual interface between the educator and the learner, then that is very important to be able to connect the experiences and address to the strengths, the weaknesses, and the opportunities that the learner would have in that learning environment.
There's something that I'd like to ask. We have been talking about how it is you can get in touch with the Tujiajiri program. And it has been mentioned how it is that the Tujiajiri program partners with county governments. Now, within county governments, there exists groupings, call them CBOs, call them youth groups, whatever you want to call them. Now, the question I want to ask is there room for the foundation to actually work with these groups? I understand the need to work with the county, but I'm asking, these groups serve a certain purpose. When you talk about automation and the threat of, or the discussion around employment, the problem was not automation. Just like now the problem is not AI, the problem is getting people to understand what it is. Because if they don't understand it, then they will fill in the blank for themselves. And as when you consider the thing that seems to be pivotal to this discussion is the loss of jobs, when you acquire new skills, it means you can do something else. So instead of looking at the losses, the opportunities that are provided sometimes are far, far greater. I'm saying this because I grew up in an era where when you're in a certain position, you had a secretary who did your typing and what have you. Then the 21st century came in and I started working within the 21st century. And you can imagine my shock when there were no secretaries and everything that I needed to communicate, I had to type by myself. It meant I had to learn a new skill.
Yes.
Back to the question, KCB Foundation and working with groupings.
Thank you. In as much as I said we work with the county government, the opportunity lies also in partnering with groups. Maybe start with giving you the highlight on how we do we reach out to the youth.
Yes.
In terms of the application process.
Yes.
The partnership with the county government is to leverage on the existing groups and organizations within the county setup.
Yes.
And this is not limited to counties only. We are also partnering with the constituencies. And we find within the constituencies, there is a lot of connection with the constituents. And this partnership is just to align our thoughts and our agenda as two corporate organizations, as KCB Foundation, as the county government, as KCB Foundation and the constituencies. It is to align our thoughts together on what is it, what is it that we want to intervene on. And number one problem is the creation of job opportunities for our youth, which is our biggest menace of this country. When we come together on a table, then we say, these are the interventions that we want to look at. And the synergies of our partnership with the government agencies here is therefore to identify the immediate need of the communities, of the constituents within the local setup. And that is where we identify the kind of interventions in terms of skilling. The skill gap within the county level, the skill gap within the constituency level. Once we identify that, then we go to mobilization. In terms of the mobilization, this is a public advertisement that we do on radio, on social media platforms, and on all our and through our KCB branches, where we are having these recruitments. So it is. I encourage the youth to keep to be on the look, to be able to connect with our social media platforms, so that at the time we are doing our public advertisement, then they can be able to apply. Once they apply, application is normally online, where you submit your names and the intent and the school you want to go to. Then thereafter, we are able to shortlist and conduct interviews, and then we pick the very best. Here we look at it's all about the passion on the kind of skill that you want to acquire.
Yeah,
it's about what you've been able to do. If you want to get into the artisans, for example, you're already doing your small stuff within the creative space, then you stand a better chance to acquire a scholarship opportunity within Tujiajiri program to be able to pursue that artisan skill within the foundation infrastructure. When it comes to groups, it's an important program, and because I said Tujiajiri is limited to the youth between the age of 18 to 34, there are other opportunities within the foundation where we target groups. One of the such opportunities is a program we are calling the DigiFlame. DigiFlame is targeting women MSMEs within this country. We are piloting in select counties and to be rolled out into the rest of the counties. Here, we are targeting groups who are organized and in their small way conduct the nano entrepreneurs. They are nano entrepreneurs because they do their own businesses in a small way.
Yeah.
And we are able to provide business incubation. We are able to provide the intervention that they require to move their business from one position to another. Not forgetting providing the financial, the digital financial access within the program.
Now, we talk about the partnerships that there are, the need of working with groups, but there's also another critical partnering that you do, and that is working with agencies like NITA to ensure that the certification that comes from the entire program is credible, something that is authentic, and the group that you are upskilling and giving them this new skill have something to show. That including the partnering with those who give equipment. Let's talk about Bosch. How critical are these partnerships in just making sure that the entire program is rich and achieves the success that it looks forward to?
That's a very critical question that you've asked. And one of the things that KCB Foundation does when rolling out programs, I said it's partnering with the government. And partnering with the government infrastructure, then therefore, the national organization, or rather the national group, the national organization that is mandated to provide certification of technical skilling is NITA. So we ensure that all our scholars who go through the Tujiajiri program get NITA certificates. And you saw what happened when last year, when the country was looking for some jobs outside the country. And most of them turned up and they could do the job, but lacked a certificate. We want to, what the foundation does is to dignify your skilling so that you get a NITA certificate that you can be able to secure a job, or you can be able to do your, self-employ yourself. When you look at even outside the country, the starting point is always that a certification bit. We are very keen on ensuring the quality of the kind of scholarships that we provide to our learners. When you look at the additional partnership opportunities that we have, we've been able to provide not only the skill in classroom, but also providing toolkits so that as you exit out of the classroom, the 6 months training give you the theoretical skill and a bit of technical, hands-on work. But as you transit, you need that tool to change your life and to start working. KCB Foundation provides toolkits to these trained youths. And this is through our strategic partners with the producers of such toolkits like Bosch, where we've been able to provide these toolkits to these youths. As they get out there, they are now, like a good number right now, are feeding into the national, the affordable housing program. Most of those who are getting into such construction sites are our youths, who are probably could have been earning the 500 as laborers, but now they are certified. They're getting, they're paid, as either contractors, or they are able to secure as well-trained artisans.
And one would say, banks for a very long time is known on matters to do with selling and buying money. Yeah? But here we are, you're getting into these, you call it CSI. CSI. Yeah. But still one would feel like, how do I approach them? There is the application that you say is online. But in terms of the interviews that you do, we've had the conversations before. It is rigorous, and one need to come in to be prepared, ready to get in. Just take us through that process of, it is work you're coming to do, it is serious.
Yeah, thank you. When you look at the application process for coming to the bank, why we are investing on the community, number one is to bank on we are banking on them first. We are investing in them first before they come to invest with us. I think that is very, very important for us to acknowledge, so that we are building the capacity of our youth within this country, at all parts of this nation, to be able to have money in their pockets and come and bank with KCB. And noting that then, therefore, is to be able to appreciate the application process. Once we have the public advertisement, I encourage the youth of this country to be able to be cognizant and to be able to apply in good numbers. They can be able to walk into any KCB branch within this country. There are over 200 branches across the country, and be able to get this information as it when they require. And once we roll out those applications, because right now we are still, in some counties we've already started the recruitment, and in the next few months we shall continue with such recruitment. I would request the youth of this nation to be ready with their national IDs and the passion now to apply and be part of our program, and be ready to be part and parcel of this community-changing program, the Ajiri program.
Do you ever get a situation where the skills required, let's say at county level, for example, but you're not able to match that to those who want to take up, courses in that skill set requirement? And if you do, how do you deal with that?
That's a good question. I started by saying that by the time we are rolling out programs, we first collect the demand required for this set of trainings. And by the time we are connecting that skill to the job market, the level of effort then will tell us whether it's a skill to continue training or is an overflooded area of training that we may go low. So every other time we are doing the reviews just to check which are the most marketable courses within that sector and be able to produce. But I can tell you as a matter of fact, I don't think this country is flooded with the skills that you require. the skill is still relevant because the world is changing from as a result of digitalization that I talked about. Some jobs are being phased off, but when it comes to the hands-on skill, that is something that you cannot be able to get rid of. You'll still need your sink to be fixed. You still need that electrician to fix, to have this light that we require in this hall today. That tells you that it is the high time for the artisans to get the skills that they require and use it either by getting securing an employment or creating an employment for themselves.
And AI is a very powerful tool that pretty much is out here to make things easy. And with it now, you say it is not here to take away jobs, but to work together with the hands-on skills that you're talking about. So in terms of what you look at, in terms of the future, in terms of marrying these two together, even at the point of application, implementing the same, how do you look in terms of the future for AI and education?
The future is bright. I must say that we are in the era of artificial intelligence, and the future is bright. One is setting up AI to be able to give us real-time solutions within the operating space. That is number one. The second then is to use the same AI to be able to provide the much-needed skill, so that if it is a skill on robotics, then we need that skill to be able to provide solutions to industries, to be able to provide solutions within the finance sector, within the education sector, within the agriculture sector, and the like. The other day you saw when the president was in Kimalel, a project that we partner with the county government of Baringo. You saw a young man who had developed an app and using AI is able to connect the farmers to the market. That's a real example of how you can be able to use AI to solve the problem of market access, which is one of the problems that we are solving within that program intervention. So with integrating AI in the education space, I see a lot of opportunity for this country. Number one, the government setting up the infrastructure that is required. We require a lot of policies, AI framework in terms of laying the framework for AI legislation to be able to patent whatever innovations our youth are able to come up with. The second, I look at the technological sector development, where we have the Kenya National Innovation Agency, which is providing facilitation for the Kenyan entrepreneurs, the Kenyan entrepreneurs who are in the tech space. That is providing an opportunity for our tech entrepreneurs to be able to sprout and be able to go and change the communities by coming up with tailor-made solutions that affect our communities.
Right.
The third is the data and infrastructure, where is now the matter around data integrity and how to be able to manage that data within the confines of the regulations within this country. Thank you.
Okay, so, I mean, of course, looking at the future, looking at currently what's happening and what you're able to do, how far can it go when we talk about, obviously there's a gap, right? The foundation has been laid in many instances by government. A lot of times, private sector then does come in to fill some of those gaps with what we are seeing. But really, what can you do in terms of possibility, collaborations that must continue into the future? Because whether we like it or not, with our current situations, gaps will be there. What can you see in terms of potential of what can actually happen as concerns the education of skills and training and filling that with the required skills and training in certain parts of the country?
A lot needs to happen within this education space in terms of connecting the requirements of the AI and education. A lot needs to be done. One is bringing on board partners who have like-minded thoughts to come together to be able to bring forward this program. One of the areas that we need partners is to bring resources together, and we encourage private partnership in as much as we also encourage private-public partnership to be able to provide resources. And organizations, irrespective of how big or small they are, they still need to invest on the communities, and because the gap is there. The skill gap is so huge that we cannot be able to utilize. And that's why I call upon organizations to come together and be able to partner. And they do not really need to reinvent the wheel. We as KCB Foundation have been partnering either in the implementation stage, in the project monitoring phase, or even at the job linkage stage, to be able to connect with us and be able to uplift our communities and thereby create jobs for our youth.
So you also do give loans, and I know even as we're running down time, you do give loans. There are micro grants and things that you give. So you seen that you give this at the end of the training when you're getting into maybe a job for yourself. So how long do you give them to pay back? Is there a moratorium that they get? How then do they start their business and at the same time manage the loans that they get?
When Tujiajiri started, there were 3 interventions that we were addressing to. One is the skill, and I've talked about it. The second is the ability to manage a business, and that is provided through the business mentorship that we provide. The third one was the access to capital, which is a big problem. And research tells us that over 60% of young entrepreneurs who are starting up will fail within the first year. So with that research very clear, then it is for us to put the interventions that we require. One is to provide the seed capital. We've been providing loans to these youth. So far, we've been able to disburse over 267 million to the youths. Here, I'm not talking about the millions of money per youth, per application. I'm talking about a small amount, as low as 50,000, as high as 500,000, to be able to idealize, to start up the idea and put it into business. And with that, then we've substituted that with toolkits, because we as a foundation, we felt it is better to have a toolkit is much more powerful than giving you seed capital.
You really need to come back to talk more about this.
You definitely do.
Some of the things you're saying are profound.
Yeah.
And there are things that could help change very many things for our youth. But our time is up.
Indeed it is. Stephen Mati, thank you very much for being here this morning from KCB Foundation to show us exactly what is happening. Asante Sana, and we look forward to another conversation in the future. Good morning. It's 9 a.m.
What, Judy?